Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Last Minute Laura. I'm Laura, and today I am going to get started on another crochet project. For today's project, I am going to be making a little satchel to hold your tea bags in. So if you're like me, you pretty much drink a ton of tea. If you travel with your tea, sometimes you may find you're just throwing some tea bags into a Ziploc bag and tossing them in your purse, or straight tossing them in your purse. But I've decided I want to have a little carrying bag. This was suggested by one of the viewers of the live stream, so thank you so much for that suggestion. I love it. So today we're going to do this crocheted tea satchel so that you can fill it up with a couple of tea bags and toss it in your purse, so that you're always stocked with your tea. I'm going to get started today with some cotton yarn. It's cotton and acrylic. So this is Premier brand Cotton Fair, 52% cotton and 48% acrylic. It is a, it's a number 2 fine yarn. It's made in Turkey, and the color that I am using is leaf green. Okay, so to get started, you're going to need some yarn. Like I said, I'm using this one, but you can use pretty much anything you've got. If it's a worsted weight, it's gonna work just fine. It just is gonna end up a little bit tighter. It's just, this is an easy pattern, so don't really freak out about the yarn. Pick whatever you've got. This is just what I've got on hand right now. So I'm going to be using a 5mm hook. I've got my Red Heart aluminum hook here, but you can use a 4mm, you could use a 4.5, you could even go up to a 5.5 or a 6. It's not going to make a huge difference because the size of the tea bag means there's not going to be any hole that's too big for a tea bag to fall through. You're also going to need a yarn needle, and you'll need a pair of scissors, and that's just for finishing everything off. So to get started, we're going to do a slip knot. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to double crochet in the first stitch, in that first chain stitch, 2 more times. So I'm going to put it in there, complete a double crochet, and then I'm going to complete 1 more double crochet in that same hole. Then chain 1. Next, double crochet 3 times in that first chain again. So we're still working in that first chain stitch for all of these stitches, and we're doing 3 more double crochets. You may notice here that we're starting off the exact same way that you do for a granny square, except we're only doing a chain 1 stitch between the sets of 3 double crochets. So I've just finished my 3 double crochets. I'm going to chain 1, and then in the same hole I'm going to do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to chain 1 again and do 3 more double crochets into that first stitch. So at this point, we have done 11 double crochets into that first stitch, and the chain 3 that we began with will also create a double crochet, so it's going to be 12 all the way around. We'll have 3, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 3, chain 1. So I'm going to do my last chain 1, and then I am going to secure that round with a slip stitch to that first stitch that we made, that first chain 3. And now you can see we've got a little square. Next, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to turn the work around. So like I said, it's like we're starting with a granny square, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is a granny square. The pattern works as a granny square. It's just some of the sewing that we do in the end that changes that up a little bit. So now we're going to do 2 more double crochets. This time we're working in that hole where the chain 1 was. So 1 and 2. And that chain 3 that we started as works as our 3rd double crochet, if you see that there. Then we're going to chain 1, remove these scissors, and we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that same hole. So 1, 2, and and then we're going to chain one again, and now we're going to go into the hole at the next corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets in that hole now. 1, 2, and 3. And then guess what? We're going to chain one, and we're going to do 3 more in that same hole. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain one, and we're going to skip over to the next corner and put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain one again, and we're going to put 3 more double crochets into that same corner hole. 2 and 3. Oops. And then we're going to chain one again, and we're going to skip over to the last corner there, and we're going to do 3 double crochets, followed by a chain one, followed by 3 more double crochets, all in the same hole. And to finish off that round, we're going to do a chain one, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 that started off the round, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now you can see we're working with a square. So if you've never made a granny square before, this is a granny square. It's slightly modified, but it's still the basic premise of a granny square. And you can see we've got our corners, we've got our center. We're going to pull that center closed really tight in the end, and we're going to weave in that end, but we can wait until the end to do that. So that is round 1 and round 2. We're going to do 3, 4, and 5 the same exact way. So let me just get rid of this knot. Got it. Okay, so now we're on round 3. So we're going to turn the work, and we're going to put 3 double crochets, or 2 double crochets I should say, into that hole, because the chain 3 acts as a double crochet, remember? And then we'll chain one, we'll jump over to that corner, and we'll do 3 double crochets in there. And then a chain one and 3 more double crochets in there. A tip, if you're working in a corner, we're going to be doing 3 double crochets, chain one, 3 double crochets. And if you're working on a flat edge, it's just going to be 1 set of 3 double crochets. But every time you finish doing 3 double crochets, you're going to be doing a chain one. No matter where you are, 3 double crochets is always going to be followed by a chain one. If you're at a corner, you're going to be putting 2 sets of double crochets into the corner. If you're on a flat end, you're just doing 1 set of 3 double crochets. And I'm just going to work my way around this 3rd round, following that pattern. I'm on a corner now, so I'm doing 3 double crochets, chain one, 3 double crochets, all in the same hole. And then I'll chain one, and I'm working on a flat side, so I'm just going to do 3 double crochets on that flat side. And then a chain one, back into a corner. So 3 double crochets, followed by a chain one, followed by 3 double crochets into that same hole. This is all worked in double crochet until we get to our last round. So it's a pretty easy pattern to work up, and it works up really quickly. So this one is great for a gift, for a stocking stuffer, if you've got your Christmas list getting started. It's also awesome to bring to markets because people love little things that they can gift to others. And this one is great. If you have someone who loves tea in your life, they probably have tea in their bag. And this makes it more, I don't know, it gives it a purpose. When you've got tea in your bag just loose in your purse, it's a little bit, you know, it'll get lost. It can get mixed in with other stuff and forgotten. This way, it's kind of a specific container just for your tea bags. The great thing about this too is it's just a little square container, so you can actually use it to hold your tampons or your pads. You can use it to hold, I don't know, any small thing that you like to keep with you on your person that isn't large, but you like to have it in your purse. It's a cute little container, and it works for pretty much any small thing, but I'm making it with the purpose of holding my tea bags in my purse without having them get loose and separated, because I usually have 2 or 3 tea bags at any one time. And this way they're all stuck together. Plus it looks so cute when they're all sticking in there. I'll show you at the end, once we finish our sewing, once we finish putting it all together, I will show you how cute it is having a couple of tea bags in there. Oh hey, by the way, if you're still watching, don't forget to like the video. It's a free and easy way for you to support the channel, and it really does help the channel grow, so I appreciate it so much. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking the videos. It means the world to me, really. And by the way, I didn't even say that. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I put out new videos every single day. I mean, I did have a little bit of a blip last week, but that was a whole mental health thing, so you know, sue me. Mostly I put videos out every single day. Monday to Friday, I live stream from 7 a.m. Eastern time until around 8:30 a.m. We just chat, have our tea, and get our day set up, so if that sounds like something you're into, definitely join us. And then on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I put out more curated, kind of edited videos like this. Sometimes they're crochet tutorials, sometimes I focus on natural dye. It's pretty much whatever crafty thing I'm in the mood for at the time. So again, if that sounds like something that's up your alley, definitely subscribe and hit the little bell notification icon. That way you'll be notified whenever I put out a new video, which again, is almost every single day. So don't forget to come back tomorrow and check out what I've put out. Okay, so moving through, I am almost done. 1, 2, 3, I'm almost done round 4. And there's only 5 rounds that we do in this granny square way. It's just a small granny square to get started. And now number 3. And again, I'm at a corner, so I'm chaining 1 and then putting 3 more double crochets into that corner. This yarn is actually super nice. I was a little bit hesitant because I'm trying to avoid buying acrylic. For the most part, I like to be using natural fibers, but it was so soft, and it was, I mean, half cotton, and it was on sale, and I had a gift card to Michael's, so everything lined up really perfectly in this situation. Also, if you like the yarn, if you like any of the things I'm using in this video, definitely check below. I link everything that I use, and I do use affiliate Amazon links, so I get a little teeny bit of money for everything that you buy. You don't pay any more, but it does help out the channel. Every little bit helps. Also, while we're doing the self-promo, I've got my Amazon wishlist down there, I've got my Patreon, my membership site, I've got every way that you can support the channel. But if that's not your thing, definitely like the video, because that is a free way that you can support the channel. And it really does help. All right. So now I am on my last round. I'm doing round number 5. Oops. And after round number 5, it's going to be time for final assembly. I'm telling you, this is like the quickest, easiest pattern, which is why it's perfect for those of you who do craft markets or Christmas markets. It's an easy, quick little pattern, fun to work up. Once you've done 1 or 2 of them, you don't even need to look at your hands while you're working, because the gap stitches you're working in are so big you're not going to miss it. You're not going to put the stitch in the wrong spot. It's a great one to do while you're watching, I don't know, a Netflix series. So I am just going to finish up this round 5. You can pause the video here and make another tea, and when you come back, I will show you how to finish the final assembly of this super easy tea bag pouch. Okay, so I've just finished my 5th row, and you can see we've got a nice little granny square here. The next step is that we're going to do 1 row of single crochet, but we're going to do something a little bit different on the last corner. So at this point, just single crochet around. 1 in every stitch, 1 in the gap stitch, all the way around. The only thing that we're going to be doing that's like a little different is in those corner stitches, where we've got those corners, we're going to do 2 single crochets. And that's just going to keep the corner a corner as opposed to rounding it out too much. We just want to do 2 single crochets in those corner stitches. Other than that, we're just doing 1 single crochet in every stitch around. I'll let you know though, at the last corner, come back here and I will show you what we need to do to make a little buttonhole, because there's going to be a button. I don't know if I mentioned that in the what you'll need for this project. You need a button. Okay, so now we're at that last corner. I'm going to do a single crochet, and then when we get to that middle stitch, that chain 1 that's the last corner, we're going to do a single crochet in there and then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do our second single crochet in that same spot. And you can see that creates this little loop. And that is what we want. And then just finish the round out, single crocheting back to the first stitch that we did a single crochet in. And then slip stitch the round together, secure off your yarn. There's my last one. Gonna slip stitch to that first. Okay, so I've finished weaving in my ends. I finished that round of single crochet, and now it's time for final assembly. So I've got my button. I'm using this cute little gold metal button that I found somewhere at some point. But first we've got to sew this bad boy together. So we're going to fold up the bottom and we're going to fold in the sides, just like that, see? So fold up the bottom, fold in the sides. The easiest way to sew this thing together is first we match up the corners. So the bottom corner, I'm going to match it up to one of the side corners. We're keeping that looped end at the top because that's our buttonhole. Then we fold it in half. Geez. Not the best explanation, but we'll figure this out together. So I'm gonna take a piece of yarn. Oh gosh, if I can get it threaded properly. I'm gonna take a piece of my yarn that I used for the project, and I'm gonna probably go with about 2 feet of yarn just so that I only need to make 1 cut. And then we're gonna start at the corner. So at the very middle stitch of the corner, we're going to loop it through on both sides, just like that. Oops, let's not have it go all the way through. And then I'm going to tie it off. Just a simple knot here is fine. That's just going to keep that first stitch secured. We'll weave in those ends at the end and you won't see any of that, so don't worry. Next, we're going to stick it into the next stitch, moving down that short end. We're going to stitch it with blanket stitches. If you want, you could slip stitch this part together or single crochet. I just like doing the blanket stitch because I like how it looks and I like how tight and strong it is, and it doesn't add any bulk the way that a single crochet is going to add bulk to your project. So this is going to be the inside of the little bag, so you're not going to see any of these stitches anyway, which is great. But even so, if you accidentally put it together and then leave it with the stitches showing, it's barely visible. If you don't know how to do a blanket stitch, no worries. I'm going to include my blanket stitch tutorial in the description down below, and you can get it right there in the iCard. I've put it up at the top of the screen. So if you need to learn how to do that before you put this together, definitely pause and watch that video and then come back to assemble your tea bag. But I'm just going to do that all the way down until I reach the corner. Oops. go. And then in that last stitch, I'll do my final blanket stitch there. And what I'm going to do, instead of cutting it, I'm going to just put the needle, and weave it back up and down those blanket stitches to bring it back up to where we started. That's going to add maybe just a little bit extra security, but really it's so that we're back at the beginning and I don't have to do any cutting on my bag. So there's the first bit. You can see we've got that nice seam there. Again, we're keeping this as our top, so now we have to fold this one in. For that, I'm just going to fold over. I'm gonna take my yarn needle and secure it through that corner because we're already in the corner on the other side. Loop that through, and then we're gonna just do blanket stitches all the way down the other side. And this is going to make it kind of an envelope shape, which is what we're going for because that is going to hold our little tea bags. Or again, your tampons or your pads, or I don't know, if you have daily medication that you need to take with you, you could hold it in there. It's kind of cute. What else could you hold in there? Maybe some hair elastics or some clips or barrettes. Whatever you want to keep that's small in your purse that you just want it to be a little bit unassuming while still keeping it together. And it's super cute. I've been making these ever since I made the pattern. I've been just making them so that everybody's getting one for Christmas in my family. And then on that last stitch, I'll just do an extra blanket stitch. There we go. And then I'm going to weave that all the way back up because the next part is going to be attaching our button. So I've made it back up to that, middle, just like that, flatten her out. And then I'm going to flip this inside out so that those seams don't show. There we go. Pull that tight so that we've got it looking cute. Very cute, totally awesome. And then we'll switch needles. So I'm using this big yarn needle right now. I'm going to switch it out for just a sewing needle because the button holes don't have a big enough hole for my yarn needle to go through. Now it's time to put that button on. So I'm folding over. What I'm going to do is, if you are doing it for tea bags, it doesn't really matter. You can put the button right there in the middle and that's going to be fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of tea bags and I'm going to put them in there. And then I'll know how far I want the button to be to actually fold over and hold my bags in place. There we go. Then we can fold that over. And I'm going to want my button right about there. So it is pretty much centered, but it's just a nice way to make sure that you've got it in the right spot. Now I'm going to just attach my button with some simple stitches. You can do this however is easiest for you. It's no big deal. Super easy. There we go. Oh, I love how that gold looks with the green. How cute is that? Oops. And I only have one of these gold buttons. Most of my buttons are one of a kind because I just collect them through my life somehow. I have just too many buttons, but now I don't because I have a really good use for them. And there we go. So that's nice and secured. Again, you're not doing a ton of heavy pulling on this, so don't worry about making it like extra crazy secure. There we go. I'll just do a little knot on the end to keep that nice and tight. Then we'll trim it. And that's it. Look, we've got a little buttonhole so it holds it closed. And then you've got this cute little square just to hold your tea bags in your purse. I just love it. I think it's super cute. It's this size that I've made here is about the size to hold a panty liner. If you want to do it for pads or tampons, it'll hold some tampons. If you want to do a little bit bigger, if you have a bit of a larger size pad that you keep, just do an extra row on that granny square. Basically, you can make this go any size. It's better for a small thing just because it's a little flimsy, and if you made a large bag out of this, it wouldn't be super stable, I want to say. But for something small like a panty liner, this is the perfect size. For a tea bag, it's the perfect size. Tampon, it's the perfect size. Whatever you need it for, or even if you're just making them for a craft fair, other people can decide what they want it for. But that's it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this cute little tea bag pouch. Super easy, works up in, I'm gonna say 15-20 minutes if you're not talking and explaining it. But I really love it. I think it's a cute, sweet, and I think this yarn was a perfect yarn for it. Again, I used the Premier brand Cotton Fair, and I got that at Michael's. I'll link it down below though, and that's all for today. So friends, that is about it from me for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up because it's super helpful for the channel. I will see you tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Bye!